So we're going to talk about Steven Universe. How about your first impressions of the show?
Are we talking about when I first started watching it?
Yeah, when you first started watching it.
SU was okay from the start. I know that there's been a lot of like, oh my god, that's so much filler, but I think it was very reminiscent of like 80s and 90s cartoons in the beginning. It was really like lighthearted, kind of almost slice of life anime with Monster of the Week thing. It was like super cute. And like people weren't super into it. I kind of like would binge watch like 10 episodes or so, but it'd be like, oh, hey, Steven really likes ice cream and they stopped making it, but it's okay because they got more and good. Or, oh, hey, here's this centipede monster, but it's actually an okay thing.
I'm not sure if
Anime,
they were
but
just
not
trying to.
bad.
Yeah, I'm not sure they were trying to get things established because they weren't sure they could make it, maybe. Don't know if they had anything deeper than what they were first doing. But I found it to be very charming. I enjoyed a lot of the slice of life and, well, as you said, anime kind of, oh yeah, monsters, and it's just. I I don't know if it was probably first started by the. Um, I can't think of the guy's name, the guy who created Adventure Time, but it was very Homestar Runner slash Strong Bad sort of humor that I kind of just started seeing, and that's just kind of how I saw it. I was like, yes, it's different, it's funny, and kind of goes. Even if it's not something you like, you probably would enjoy the humor. And I don't know if that
A
was
very
because
Adventure
of
Time
Adventure
vibe.
Time with the 11-minute episodes, they had to cram so much in, or tell stories that way. They really have to do a lot of work
Time.
for that.
At that poor 15-minute runtime. I know it's like just industry standard at this point because that's just what networks want.
They want
Because
it
you could
cheap.
feel
I,
in the beginning that they were trying to fit like 30-minute long storylines into 15-minute long time slots. I think they've really fixed that up
yeah,
because Adventure
probably.
Time kind of had the same thing at first, but
Yeah,
okay.
I've really only watched the first couple seasons of it. I mean, they were, I guess, really simple and therefore kind of short stories, but they worked, and they worked in that time span. It doesn't feel like things are really rushed or things are crammed in most of the time.
Yeah, there'd be a little hiccup here and there, but like it wasn't like, oh, you could tell if they kind of wanted to tell more, but that's okay.
So I think it's on its fifth season now. It's hard to tell when seasons begin and end with the way they're doing the episodes.
Then from what I saw, it looked like the last Steven Bomb started the fifth season.
Okay, before we get to, I guess, a little more of it, let's talk about some of the characters. Is there some that you really enjoyed first starting? Are there some that you warmed up to later on?
Uh, I'd say that when it first started out, I didn't have any real feelings towards any of the characters because they were definitely what they were made to be. Like Pearl was the mom, and Garnet was the leader, and Amethyst was kind of like the cool older sibling. And I did like Amethyst, how like she was still almost a kid, but not really because she's thousands of years old and she's done a whole bunch of stuff, but she was still immature, and I liked that. Time went on, they really focused on Pearl. Oh my god, did they focus on Pearl? And Garnet got like a whole new facet of her personality from like saying one or two things an episode to just like
I got hit by an airplane.
that too. I don't know. I warmed up to everyone.
I would,
Amethyst. I feel like she kind of lost some screen time. I still like her. I just feel like she lost a lot of screen
yeah, I
time.
would say now we're looking back on the 5 seasons. The story that we really don't know is kind of Pearl's. We do, I mean, we still don't know a lot about Amethyst. We have inferred a lot and figured out a lot, but there's still a lot we should know. And Pearl, to me, is the one that we need more information on, just because, wow, a Pearl without I guess, an owner in terms of gem society, as we're now finding out.
Yeah, I remember when the show was still new and everyone was going on about, oh, she's Rose's Pearl, or which of course now we know that Rose was literally just a soldier.
Right.
Oh, she was Pink Diamond Pearl, and that wasn't a thing either. She's not Yellow Diamonds. She's not Blue Diamonds. She's just literally been called out to say she didn't belong to anyone. And considering pearls are like jewelry,
Yeah, I'm trying to think how you would describe it.
ironically.
It is weird. I mean, I liked how it wasn't all thrown out in front of you when you first picked up just as you went along, especially when Peridot came on the scene. You learned a lot about Homeworld. Like, wow, this is interesting. And it all fits, kind of thing, especially with Pearl. It's like, wow.
Added a lot, and it killed a lot of theories, honestly, which I kind of appreciate, because when you're stuck there theorizing things,
Yeah,
two ways. That's all you have, or they give it to you because they see the theories. And I'm so glad that we know at least a little bit more, but it just makes me want to know even more.
well, yeah, it's just, and I would say for the most part, the filler episodes, we'll call them, I don't mind them. There are just some that, like, no, I want to know more about this. Like, the two, to me, and this is probably getting to more peeves of what it was the two story arcs with Pearl and Garnet when they fused and they found out she was messing up this, what is it called? Teleportation, not teleportation hub, the communication hub or something, so they could fuse and, found out she was doing that just so he could fuse with Garnet, not, and that she was being used. And just that kind of long, I mean, there were some good development stories that came out of it, but it was just kind of a long thing. It's like, come on, get over this. The one that really made me mad was more recent, and that was with Connie and Steven when they just weren't talking to each other. I'm just like, I get it. I'm glad it wasn't nearly. It was probably a few episodes shorter than the Pearl one, in Garnet. But I was like, oh no, I don't want this.
That last Steven bomb was a huge letdown. Not the one that just came out this last week, which
the one
I'll get back
before.
to shortly, but whole on trial, being in
Oh,
homeworld,
yeah.
cool things happen. That was an awesome bomb. Then we had nothing. We had radio silence for months. Then we got the new Stephen bomb. Well, not the new. Now the old Stephen bomb. The one with Connie, the one with coming back to Earth and everything. And it was
Yeah.
all towny episodes. It was all
Yeah.
Stephen is not talking to Connie. Connie's not talking to Stephen. And I'm just like, but Lars is in space!
Yeah, that's all going on. They kind of address that a bit more, I guess, in the most recent Stephen Baum of episodes. Yeah, it was just because you get so much, but then I guess so little, and that might just be part of the scheduling problem that they're doing with Stephen. Because just like with Rick and Morty, they haven't ordered season 4 yet, so we have to wait till they do. It's like, come on, come on.
Just,
It's just how
oh my
long in between,
god.
and if the stories weren't so far apart, or maybe if they split them up differently, that might have been better. But yeah, I
If you
guess the only
split it up a little better, it would be fine. Like, even if we got the letters to Lars thing or earlier or
yeah
something, but it was like, nope.
that yeah. I guess there's only one character I don't. I mean, I've gotten better with this character, but pretty much throughout the whole show, I didn't like him, and that's Onion. He's kind of just I mean, they did a lot better later on. Fish. I mean, even still now, it's just like Onion.
I guess in relation to how I feel about the show, when I started to lose like pure interest in it was around the time that Onion Friend started coming out.
Yeah,
Actually came out.
that seemed
The
pretty
one with
filler.
just yeah, that was like the most pure filler episode that I had seen, and like it was fine up until that point. But I was like, I don't care to actually watch this. I actually just kind of stopped paying attention to the episode. So now I just wait for like the entire bomb to drop, and they've been really good at just releasing it on the app. And I have my own cable provider. I just log in with my credentials, blah blah blah, and it's just more palpable that way. But when they weren't doing that, and I had to wait like every day, come home, watch it while it aired, to like a filler episode, it would just be like, oh man, well, I'm not going to see this show for another like 4 months because they're not going to air anything new. And this is how we ended off, just something that honestly doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. And it's
Yeah.
not even a funny episode. Like,
Yeah, I don't think I didn't. I don't think I didn't like it. I don't remember too much of that one now. I think about it.
main thing, like people give a lot of shit to like the kindergarten kid, the episode that's essentially Peridot and Looney Tunes.
Oh
But I
yeah,
love that episode because it was just silly.
yeah, that was fun.
And
I well,
stuff like that.
what was that? That was probably the last episode. The was it? Probably was Letter to Lars, where it kind of. I mean, it essentially, if you never watched the show or you only, that really caught you up. I guess confirmed a few things, mostly just because with Lars in space, like he's headed home. That's something that I wasn't sure what was going on, and I had some predictions, and I still have some predictions that what will happen. But with that in there, like, well, it changes a little bit. Let's get to okay. What are the things you probably hate the most besides this scheduling and maybe the filler stuff?
Hmm. A lot of repetition. Not so much in like, oh, characters just say this or do this or whatever. There's a lot of plot points, but contrivances that are kind of just repeated. Like, Steven something, fine. But then something very similar will happen, and the gems won't tell him. But it's gotten to the point where Steven doesn't even pursue it. Gems are trying to tell him, and he doesn't care. It's contrivance of, well, you guys want to know, but the characters don't want to tell, or the characters don't want to know. And I'm like, come the F on! Obviously, Pearl or Garnet or whomever want to actually, like, make a point to try to say something. And we'll see a lot of, like, development, character development, and things will be great. And it's just not allowed. And maybe they're waiting for something super bombastic, but it's the fact that they just keep dangling it. Like, it'll come up or someone will mention it or something will kind of tick off like, oh, we should probably learn about this. And it just doesn't, but it'll be referenced to. And I'm like, up at all if you weren't going to do anything with it. What is that saying? If there's a gun in the first scene, it should be like fired by the end of the scene.
Yeah, I forget the saying. Yeah, if you see the gun in the opening scene, you better have fired by the end of that, unless there's some story
It's
behind that. I can't think what that is now. Yeah, we
it's
learned about
Chekhov's
that
gun.
one.
It's Chekhov's gun. That's what it's
Chekhov's.
called.
That's right. Did Bushy yell
Really
that from
bad.
somewhere? You're like, what? I thought you heard someone say it.
No, it just hit me.
Oh yeah.
But it's just that over the course of 5 seasons, and I'm like, come on, guys, either just stop it or do it. That's all I want. Like, we finally got to see Pink Diamond after
Yeah,
the Pink Diamond thing
I
was
guess
just
we did.
referenced for so long.
There's
Okay,
some.
air quote, we saw Pink Diamond.
Yeah, I know. It's just unfortunately. It's just like every episode. Well, that answers some questions, but there's more questions. So, and
It's
I guess I like how
that.
deep it is, but it's like, come on, we're not there yet. Keep going. You want to get more.
Keeps tiring the show out. Like, we're getting there, and it's like, whew, need a break, guys. And I'm like, oh, you've been on break for months.
I hate to think it's because of the scheduling that we feel this way, but yeah,
If it was updated more like
maybe
Teen
one.
Titans Go or any other
Yeah,
Cartoon Network show, it wouldn't be such a pain in the ass. But Adventure Time and Steven Universe have both been like suffering massive hiatuses and terrible scheduling. And it's like, those are your two biggest like story-driven shows, guys!
Nope, more Teen Titans. Yeah.
Oh my
I-
god.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I shouldn't fault the show for that. I don't know if we're getting kind of these other sort of episodes just because maybe there's stories they wanted to tell, but because I didn't know if they would make it or be on so long that they're now let's put this in because we could, lack of a better word, let's drag this on a little more. Let's get this episode in before we do that kind of thing. Maybe I like that Onion one. That's a thought. Who knows? I mean,
Read that because I know it's a storyboard-driven show, so like, storyboarders get the chance to do what they want to do, but be some kind of outline, right? There's got to be.
I'm trying to think what we don't know. I mean, now that I think about it, there's something else I didn't think about. Apparently, there's a white diamond, just because from what we've seen, there's supposedly that final attack, which I'm not entirely sure what that final attack was. You just see the diamonds put out their hands. That's how Rose can only save so many gems.
Corruption beam that made a centipede.
Oh, that's right. Corruption. Yeah, you're right. I remember that was first. Yeah, it's kind of messed up when I heard about that. I was like, huh. And that she only could save a few. And
Really been referenced in a while, but
yeah, sure, probably go down
I
a
think
bunch
that's
of.
what that was.
Well, I don't know. Let's see. There was some. Well, now that Garnet met all the off colors, as they call them, she went through Lion's Mane. That's the first time I've seen somebody besides Connie go through. And just because there's kind of a sacred secret place where, that's where bismuth was hidden. So now that Garnet's been through, I wonder if she wondered and looked at that tree. It's just a thought now. That kind of raised
Yeah, that's a good point.
and I was like, well, because I think there's a chest there. I already forgotten what's there. Besides the
Yes,
shirt.
there's the flag, there's the shirt.
I have to look now. I think there's a chest, and people are like, "What's in the chest?" But and I guess that's where the sword was as
Everyone
it
thought
popped out
that
of the
the
line.
destroyed like diamond hand ship was Rose's. Everything involving Rose is just you
It's
gotta know. I want to know.
yeah, you gotta know. I barely know anything about you. That's a good thing. It's like wow, enough that Greg got her to well, geez, to give up her physical form to make Steven, and it's beautiful and sad, and there's so many questions, and I mean, because
Weirdest
there
part
was that episode. There's other lions, like what are these other lions? you know?
is that we saw in this recent bomb that Rose was getting it on with someone totally different too. So like, how did it take all the way until Greg for her to actually?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that was really quick. I wasn't entirely sure. Just darker stories and I don't know, more obvious things than that people deal with in real life that we deal with in the show.
You know,
And I just don't know the right way to put it. You know what I'm talking about? And how fusion
I
is so
yeah.
yeah. I probably can't say it PC or anything. That's why I'm like, I don't know. People sometimes I think look too much into it, but yes, it is a female driven show, even though they technically don't have genders. I don't know, it's like well, I always bring up MLP, don't I? But it's fun to see more female characters. As you see I mean, I think a lot of people don't like Ronaldo. I find him okay. I find him funny in many situations, but that seems to be the character besides Onion that nobody likes. And
I'm okay with Ronaldo.
yeah,
Like,
I didn't really care for his being a gem episode. That one was kind of
bad.
yeah. We didn't need that one either.
That was, oh god, and the way that
His
they're like,
documentary was
meet
cool.
this new gem, and it's just Ronaldo
Yeah, I
being
forgot
really
what his name was,
insensitive.
like Blood something. But yeah, it was just fun to see the different sort of kind of characters on screen because it just I mean yeah you see the kind of same personalities but this was different. This was fun. That's what really got me into it. It's really interesting to see how it changed between its pilot and its what it became.
I
I guess
remember
what's more.
watching the pilot way like before the show started, and I was like, "This is pretty neat." But then the show actually came out. I was like, "Huh."
Huh. It might have been more streamlined, especially for animation purposes at that point.
I remember vividly that I didn't like that style change because I thought Rebecca Sugar's like original style there was honestly, but like the new style has definitely grown on me, especially since they've refined it in some ways. And I'm not gonna bring up the inconsistencies, but I feel like it's gotten better, even though the original like pitched design is still really nice.
Yeah, it's just some interesting how much depth a lot of these characters have. I mean, especially when you start out, he just seems like this deadbeat dad. He's not really a deadbeat dad. He's just
Single dad with the low income.
yeah. I was gonna say poor, but it's like yeah, he's a single dad, and well, besides his son being half alien, especially when you just look, especially when there's one about I guess after Rose is gone, it's like the first Christmas with Stephen and how the gems do not know how to take care of a baby. That there's some if you look at it other than if you're someone looking into the show of how the gems are treating the humans, it's pretty bad. But he's like, oh, they don't know any better. Yeah, they don't understand.
Episode. I honestly really would like more of those like early Steven life episodes if we were to get more filler. Steven as a toddler, Steven as a baby, or like just the things that make the gems feel foreign to like human stuff. Because lately we've gotten a lot of like humans dealing with gem stuff, especially since the like trial and the abduction and all that. Seeing the gems try to understand Steven is it's fun, it's unique, and we
I
haven't
don't
seen it
understand
much lately.
your Earth relationships or something. Okay, I'm sleeping now. No, that's not how it works.
I just those little things were always hilarious, and I miss them. I do, and I would love to even see like Amethyst with Vidalia again because like seeing the gems interact with
It's like,
humans
yeah, they
is
had histories
nice.
with some of these people. Yeah.
Now it's just like the Steven show. We just see Steven, and like I get it, it's Steven Universe, but
Especially when we found out that Amethyst was made, and they went back to the kindergarten. You see kind of how dark it was, and how Pearl naturally said she was sorry, and she said that I didn't know you felt this way, and that you were the one good thing that came out of all of this. And that's like, we still need some deeper stories. We've got a bit more of Garnet, but we
Mm.
still need more of those too, particularly Pearl, which I don't want to know. I do want to get to predictions, but I'm going to make sure we get through everything else we can think of first.
With Pearl, we know a lot about, like, oh, she loved Rose and all that, but we don't know her history.
Yeah,
And I would
she a
like to see
Pearl
more
doesn't
of
belong to
that.
anybody. Like, okay, well, who's was? I mean, how gem culture works. Where'd you come from? How'd you get there? You can learn more,
Made,
especially with
honestly.
Lapis on that. Well, like with Lapis, she was there, supposed to be there for a short time. She got injured and stuck there. Peridot and Lapis is such an interesting part of the show too. Peridot. I mean, I remember looking back on older episodes, like when she was the villain. I'm like, wow, she was rather menacing. Now she's just as it's just as alien as the other gems are with the humans. Sometimes it's like, why are you doing this?
Oh, she's Invader Zim.
Oh yes, yes.
Just straight up.
And
I
she,
like the developments. It's gonna see Lapis be a goofball again because that's like how we got introduced to her, is her being a total goof with Steven. And like I get that she's been through some shit, but I would love to see more of that. I want more gem lore. I want it. Give
yes,
it to
Gem
me.
Lord. Yeah, that would be good. I remember the Thanksgiving one. That was just kind of interesting and fun, just to see the interaction, especially with more humans. With you find more about Greg's family. Like, what do you mean you changed your name? What do you mean you weren't technically married? It's like the
Oh my god, the
traditionalist
what do you
amongst
mean you
the
weren't married part made me lose my freaking mind. I
uh,
was
like, what do
laughing
you?
so hard.
This is real. I changed my name. Was it DeMeo? That's what it was. The DeMeo family.
Cooler than universe.
Just because that's more human than I guess the universe name.
Shout out to Steven, who would prefer the last name of what is essentially Smith than Universe.
There's
Yeah,
so
we've
much
gotten
there.
a lot of human stuff, and specifically that have been Rebecca's character since, like, really big connection to them. And as a creator, I get that. You want to use those characters you love and adore. Can't keep putting bombs of just Lars and Sadie, especially just
Oh,
Sadie, when
there's
Lars
a.
is in space and undead.
Oh god. Yeah, yeah. That was dark and weird when I guess he died, but now he's a magical lion mane. I mean
There's
that.
Captain Harlock. He's an anime reference now.
Oh, whoops. Which anime is that one?
Oh shoot, I'm pretty sure it's Captain Harlock.
I mean, that's probably right. I just don't get the reference. I'm not as big an anime buff. I need to watch more, but I just haven't.
It's a really, really older classic anime. Got like the same coat and everything as Captain Harlock.
Oh, something I have to bring up, I guess, is just Sadie and Lars and their relationship, and that I'm up and down on that a lot, just because how it goes back and forth. And Lars is just he's such a jerk, but I don't know if he's reformed now.
I, I don't know.
He seemed
Lars is
he was
a
scared a
teenage
lot. Yeah,
boy, but I mean, Sadie's also done some crazy shit to him. I mean, she did strand them on an
yeah.
island and
That
almost get them
that's
killed.
that's probably my favorite one of the two, just because you kissed me on the mouth, and it was because he found out that you're the reason we're stuck here, and it was essentially manipulating into it, and I enjoy a lot of that episode, but it's like, yeah, that wasn't cool, and that really hurt the relationship. And then now that, especially that one where Steven and Lars switched brains for a day.
I wish we could have seen more of like Lars and Ronaldo, since they were apparently like
Oh yeah,
when they were kids.
they were friends
And, like, that was just mentioned in the horror movie one, and I kind of wish there was more. Like, it was mentioned once, and
once.
that was it. I love the fact that, like, shows like this are being made by people who grew up with anime and stuff, so like the references are just freaking there, and they're all hilarious.
I didn't even get because I didn't watch a lot of Dragon Ball Z, but there was that one where Amethyst ate that cloud, and I'm like, oh, she's riding the cloud. That's like Dragon Ball. And
There's that whole fight where Pearl versus Hollow Pearl, and it's essentially just an Utena. The whole freaking thing. just that.
Yeah. There's some interesting things about that human zoo going on and that whole little story arc.
That's kind of concerning because, like, we're like a thing, and it's concerning that they're using that as a plot point. Why there is a human zoo? Like, why did Pink decide, hey,
Well,
zoo?
like, well, suppose, I mean, I don't know. Again, there's just more questions that if only Rose was here, we'd find out.
I
He
really
just,
want answered is the fact that technically Rose still exists because, like,
yeah.
the gems are their gems.
I'm
Is
trying to think if there was
Steven's
some
gem
way. Yeah, I don't know.
dies, does Rose just come back?
It's a good question. I mean, yeah, he's never been poofed. I often wondered about that.
Like, he'll probably
I
have a
mean,
human-esque lifespan, maybe a little bit longer because he's gem too. But
that is a good
like,
point, yeah.
take control of the gem again is like, oh, that was fun.
Makes me wonder, too, just because when he had his birthday, he kind of just flatlined there and stayed, 14 forever at that point.
He just died.
And that's when you find out, I was like, oh, that's how old these characters are? I mean, I guess Steven. So that means when the show started, he was 13. It's okay, but I don't honestly care for the little crossover episode they did with Uncle Grandpa. That was
I
that's probably a definition of filler, even though he learned more about his, summoning his shield.
don't know why it was an episode.
Good morning. But yeah, we just had it. It was the thing.
It's funny. I'll give it
Yeah,
that.
there
It
was
was
some
definitely
some
funny,
stuff I
but
liked, but it was like, oh god, I just kind of like, because you want, it's just like the Steven Ball's like, come on, we got to get more information. No, Uncle Grandpa, what are you doing here? No, 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 not now, not
it was just bizarre. I'm like, why? But why?
Yeah, that's a good why. I mean, I guess I don't hate I've only seen so little of Uncle Grandpa. I guess I'm kind of right in the middle. It's like, oh, nothing really makes me hate it, but I enjoy some of the random humor. Otherwise, it's just like, I don't know, stuff happens.
It feels like a Nickelodeon show more than a Cartoon
That's
Network show. I'm gonna be honest.
that's a good way to put. Yeah, I would agree. I don't know. I think I got the 3 seasons. I'm pretty sure it's over now.
It's over now.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad about that. Just, I don't know. It was probably better. It came out the wrong time, kind of show.
It aired. It had its run. We'll consider it that.
Okay.
I used to watch it on occasion when I was on lunch, like from work. I would stop home and it would be on, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's all right." It's a random humor show. You can only do so much until you
Yeah,
start repeating yourself.
yeah, some of the visuals are a lot of fun, especially when that. I was just thinking of one when Steven was on. I really, oh, what was it? I just really enjoyed the commentary from Pearl from that one. This is our home now.
Pearl
They're
was
stuck.
wild in that episode. I
Yeah,
think that's what I appreciate.
they probably just
most.
wanted to, like, let's get it all out. Let's do some fun stuff, I guess, since they were doing it.
And then it became a canon episode because Steven learned how to do something important.
Yeah, that's probably like, I don't even know how the worst part about that episode. I don't even know. Oh, it's canon. Uncle Grandpa exists here. Oh,
Uncle Grandpa is part of this universe.
this makes me think
Part
of
of
the.
every Cartoon Network universe, according to that little list he had at the end.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's how they're all connected. Yeah. It makes me think of the. I'm not probably gonna get the title of the episode. Garnet's day out or something. Where she was Hoppy and Hopper in
Yes.
training.
That weird one that had like a Slippy Toad reference.
Yeah, I did like how she herself like Hoppy. I mean Hopper. So close to each other's name, get them wrong.
Some filler is okay.
It
Like
was
fillers are
fun
great
though.
for
Yeah,
humor
I mean
episodes.
that's one I think people talk about Ronaldo being the character they don't like from that one. It's his Ringo and his Ringo realm or whatever. It's kind of funny, weird. I guess almost as random as, even though reference heavy, as Uncle Grandpa.
Like the Uncle Grandpa is essentially the omnipresent god of the Cartoon Network universe.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that after the whole story, like when we first meet Connie. I mean, those were innocent, fun episodes. They learn about it. Then there's the one about winter is coming, and Steven has to make the right decision and not get everybody killed. I think she was a fine addition to the show. She was more of that human element, and therefore the town sort of element. You learn more about the history.
I'm glad that she's like stayed a thing. And I kind of want more of like the new crystal gems with her, Lapis, and
Oh
Peridot.
yeah.
I kind of wanted them to become like their own thing.
Stephen would have cried at the end of that. I have to
But
watch that one
hilarious.
again. That that was funny. I mean, I guess I call it the deadpan humor that Lapis had, and I'm really sad that what happened to Peridot with Lapis leaving. And yeah,
That too.
that was just a kick. It's
A lot of stuff. We've gotten a lot of Townie episodes, but in space, Lapis is big old question mark MIA. Peridot's a mess. I want to know more about what's happening there.
the few Rose episodes we get are really interesting, especially with Greg. You know, like she realized that humans aren't like gems; they grow, and that's probably explains a lot about like why she loves plants and just how interesting it is compared to her own species.
I want to know more about like rose quartzes in general and like why Rose can apparently bring things back from the dead.
Was Rose? I mean, not that we've seen. Was Rose able to bring anybody back from the dead? We know Steven did with Lars.
Just kind of assumed it with Lion, considering same
Yeah. Oh, that's why
abilities
he's
and
pink. You know, but it was like so obvious. Like, oh yeah.
assuming Rose could always just bring people back from the dead because she had notorious healing powers, and Lion's pink and
Yeah.
eternal.
Greg's really become more of the, I guess the adult dad we've gotten used to. I'm just thinking back, especially in the first episode. I think we see him. That's where, they find, if every hot dog were perfect, or oops, every pork chop were perfect, we wouldn't have
We
hot
would have
dogs.
hot.
Messed that
If
up.
every hot
Jesus.
dog were perfect.
Oh, yeah, I did that wrong.
Pork chops.
Well, I just think back when they're going through, where he's storing everything. You see that picture of him with, I guess, a hot dog or three in his mouth next to Rose, and it's like, I don't know what she ever saw in a guy like me. It's like, it's kind of like, to me, it's like the Jessica Rabbit thing. Like, he makes me laugh, made you feel special. And, obviously he wasn't the only one, but
He was
there's
like
still more we
the
need to
one.
know.
About how Rose felt about Pearl. We know how Pearl feels about Rose, but like, all it was. And I
Yeah,
want to know. I want to see those two interact. We see them on screen with other people kind of interacting.
Rose and
Actually
her renegade
interacting.
Pearl. Let's see. Why don't we get into some predictions? How about you, if you have any yourself?
I think that White Diamond is going to end up being the big bad.
Gonna be the what?
It's going to end up being the big bad because she hasn't been revealed yet.
That is
What
true.
we've seen little things mainly in her silhouettes and her hand with yellow and blue. She's much bigger. She has much more under her control. Too
That's
busy to
right.
even be at the trial.
True. Who knows where she was? I mean,
Why?
so something that came up with Bismuth was, as mentioned before, or I should say, Rose's sword can't shatter a gem. So obviously, if Pink Diamond was shattered, that seems to come in the question with the last Steven bomb. Like, is she really dead? We don't know. Is what I'm thinking. Just because Steven's having her visions and
Yeah.
dreams. We're not sure there. She could be looking at, I don't know, maybe White Diamond. That wouldn't be White Diamond. I guess it would be Yellow Diamond. I'm trying to think because I got confused with Connie's mom a little bit. Like, okay, who are we looking at sometimes?
I wonder if they just cracked.
That's another. Yeah, maybe she's injured. That's a good point to think about. But at the trial, as they point out too,
Lapis.
because she was like, "Well, what about her sapphire?" They would say, "Watch out," because they would have seen that it was coming, to this point. That's an interesting thing. It seems like she was set up, and before that, I had my theory might still fit with that, but my theory was it wasn't Rose that shattered Pink Diamond; it was Pearl.
I think that's heavily possible.
Yeah, and that's just mostly because it's something Rose wouldn't do, but Pearl wanted to help Rose any way she could, and that seemed to be a way to end this fight, even though it obviously backfired really badly at that point. Just
Pearl
because
really.
well, they say it was a sword. It wasn't Rose's sword. The only sword I've seen is Pearl. That's just how I go by that. And
And Pearl is the one who clams up the most when.
yeah, when that comes up, I especially think when they're on the moon base and they talk about she really shudders really badly there. I remember
Yeah.
seeing that. So that's probably one of my theories. I think is pretty true. The other especially now that Lars is supposedly headed back to Earth. You know, they're going to track the ship to Earth. We're going to have this space battle, probably. That's going to be really interesting, I think. I could be wrong. Maybe they can't track it now with Emerald, whoever that is. But my thought is that Lapis will return, and we'll get to see her fuse with Peridot.
So I want to see Peridot fuse with someone. Jesus Christ, I do.
I really thought it was going to happen with Garnet. It's like, that's going to be fun. It didn't happen.
I'd
But
like to see
that's
it with
just,
Pearl too, because I
to
want to
me,
know what would happen with their gems in the same place.
well, it might just move. This makes me think, yeah, you're right, you're right. It's just to me, because like, you know, they'd be so happy, especially if Lapis comes back, because she realizes what's important to her, is how I see it. And then Peridot be so happy that they're back. I can just see fusion happening, and we got, I don't know, well, Peridot can kind of move metal objects, and we got a water sorceress. We're gonna, oh boy, that's gonna be fun. I can't even think how the fusion would look, but I guess it'd be green. But
Blue, no, they're just gonna psych us out. It's gonna be like purple or something.
yeah, it could be something really different. I wonder.
Green. It's just gonna be like, huh?
That's just a thought. I mean, because who knows where Lapis went? I bet she's not even that far. I bet she probably didn't go farther than the moon.
There. Maybe she went to Mars, where there's
Maybe.
like possibly water.
Well, she brought all that water with her. I thought that was interesting. Those are just probably my two big predictions on that frontier. Now that we got more with Lars, it's like, wow, we're gonna have a big battle, aren't we? It's gonna be really interesting. Of course, I don't know if there's no word on the show ending. I hope not, honestly. I'd like this to go on a little longer. Even if we have this big battle, we could still have more learning experiences. We find more about the lore. And, of course, if that's the case, White Diamond hasn't even shown up, as you pointed out. That's going to be a big thing, I hope.
I want to see her because she looks huge just from how big her hands are compared to the other two.
I guess the only thing we don't know is if Pink Diamond was set up. You know, I bet it's a series of unfortunate events that went together like they wanted to set her up, but maybe not necessarily get her shattered, supposedly. I mean, she could, as you point out, she might just be hurt. Oh, there's too many questions now. I mean, more than I even have when we started this.
The fact that Steven specifically brings up the fact that he doesn't think that Pink Diamond is dead is like,
Yeah, he's usually pretty
huh.
right on these things. Like, Peridot was going to say something. Don't need to worry about that. Yeah, we do. We get this whole cluster story. I mean, that took a while, actually. I was a little surprised how long that went on. And I guess the Deus Ex Machina of everybody bubbled each other. Okay, problem solved.
There's a massive bubble in the middle of the planet, but alright. I wonder if they'll ever, like, fix that. Like, will they ever uncluster them? Will they shatter them and put them out of their misery? What will happen?
Is there a way to push down on the bubble and have it teleport to the temple? That big an orb? And
You want to destroy the temple?
well, I mean, there is a lot of weird dimensional sizes going on in the temple with each gem's room.
This room alone could probably just
Of course,
fit that.
and only when the fusion exists does that room exist, kind of thing. You know, just yeah, I don't know. I mean, we unfortunately, if whenever the show does end, we may not know all the answers. I hope we get more closure before that ever happens.
I hope it ends with a TV movie.
Oh,
Like
that's a
not
good
one of
one.
those like hour-long specials, but like an actual movie type thing where it's not segmented into episodes. Give me like an hour.
Well,
Give me
yeah,
like what
not half an
Adventure
hour.
Time's
Yeah, give
apparently
us an
getting.
hour where it's the consistent storytelling.
When shows and stuff end with like, hour-long
Cliffhangers.
specials, hour and a half long specials where it's like, hey, everything could be tied up and we have like this extra long thing. Kind of like how shows used to start with like an hour-long special. Now I like them ending with it, and it's nice.
I mean, some stuff we'll probably never know. Like, we don't know if Steven would live forever. We'd outlive Connie and everybody else.
Would Steven have to sacrifice himself to have a kid? I mean, he's half human. Could he have regular children?
Well, he's half human, so it sounds like, yeah, he could. We don't know!
Know these things.
That's like, oh, we're getting into this area, are we?
It's the questions that'll most likely never be answered, but they're going to remain questions nonetheless.
Yeah. I mean, they brought it up briefly in an episode. Like, are you the only half gem, half human? Not necessarily human. I guess it's possible, but
Yeah,
that was like two sentences, but it seemed like a more throwaway. But that's just too big a plot points to bring up, and we have all these other ones we haven't figured out yet.
And I can't imagine that all gems are just in Beach City. I wonder if there are gems in other countries who are just like, yeah, I banged a guy.
No, I see. Well, they have to be half. I don't even know, man. I don't even know.
Can you corrupt a half-human gem?
Yeah, that whole Jasper thing kind of got bad. She might have answers too, just because that was her diamond, pink diamond.
Speaking of that, why Pearl's spacesuit has a pink diamond insignia on it if she didn't belong to anyone?
Oh, I don't remember seeing that. Now I have to go look at that. How did I not notice this?
Spacesuit has a pink diamond insignia on it. It's not white. It's not a star. It's not yellow or blue. It's pink.
I'll have to look. I just watched that one the other day too because I was enjoying the space travel.
Aside from, there's always the controversial stuff with Steven Universe. It's been said to death, and I don't want to bring that up. The storyboard stuff, the hiatus stuff. It's possible if they weren't on like 4 to 5 month long hiatuses in between episodes. I just hope that Cartoon Network's promise that a lot of questions are going to be answered in these next few bombs.
I mean, we got some big answers on other bombs, but we just have more every time.
This new bomb didn't really answer anything for me. In fact, it just raised a few more questions. So I got the next few. It's a lot of speculation. Hope things can get answered soon.
Yeah, of course it was funny when Garnet met the off colors, and it's like, oh, a pearl and a ruby. What did all the other gems think? And I was like, wow. I couldn't even tell because I can't tell by these names what gems they are.
Padparadscha was, had to bring it up just like everyone is uncomfortable.
Yes, it works.
Like how they made her pretty useful in these last few episodes where like people would be doing something wrong and not know why, and then she'd be like,
I predict
Captain Lars is just being bad.
He's pressing the wrong buttons. Oh, there we go. Yeah. I wasn't sure how that was going to go.
Hindsight is 2020. Also theorized that they gave Pink Diamond a Padparadscha sapphire.
Oh, that's a good one. We need more. We need more answers.
I want to know: did she not have a sapphire? Did she have an off-color sapphire because it was, pinkish in color? I want to know.
If I were to guess, no, I'm just thinking about it. It's like, well, as they point out in the trial, they didn't have a sapphire. It's very possible they had her there, but maybe this was a meeting that was meant to just be between Rose and Pink Diamond to try and, figure out what to do. And it goes horribly wrong.
Didn't have a Pearl or anyone to her side either, so she could have just been alone.
Like
it was her first
secret
planet,
meeting.
so.
Yeah, you're right. It was her. I mean, yeah, it just wasn't. It wasn't. That was going all right. It didn't.
I want to know more about Pink Diamond, and I want to know about White Diamond. We've seen a lot of yellow and blue, but I want to know about those two. And I want to know if maybe white has something to do with pink.
Wonder how yellow and blue are going to react to her being around, because thousands of years later, it's still a problem they're having to deal with. And I guess they thought they were done with it after that, and no.
Like, you can have this planet because we don't want it, and then it just caused a whole civil war, and they're just like, we shouldn't have done that.
Well, they put that cluster in there, I guess. Unless that was part of the ray. I don't know.
I thought they put the cluster in there because they're trying to destroy it.
When are we getting the next episodes? A few more months or something?
It's like 2 or 3 months or so. I'm going to check.
Yeah, time recording this. We'll just have to see if this comes true and if we, get any answers and how many more questions we get out of that.
Looks like May. Late April.
Well, maybe a month, maybe two.
If we're lucky, it'll go up on the app early.
Ooh, yes.
Fingers crossed. We'll see then. We'll get something out of this one.